Hi, I'm very happy to stay with you during just 10 minutes. It's very short, but I try my best. So the idea is just to have an overview, not really an overview, but why in the development of Yanix we have the influence of all the technology that the composer and the artist in general use for the graphical representation and especially for the notation in general. So I try to explain very quickly Yanix what it does, and after that I suggest to show you some example very clear to understand. So the first things for us is the high level of abstraction we need for the score in general. Because I have the chance to work with many composers, and all the time it's different. The composer wants this kind of representation and other and so on. So I decide to reduce at the minimum what you need on the score. So the first object is a trigger. For me, the trigger is just an event in the space. And so the graphical representation of this object is like a circle, but for sure you can change that. If you want tomatoes, it's possible, for sure. But why not? And the second things we need is just a line, and the straight line or curved line or some line, because it's a dynamic function for the score. And so we need that. And the third object is just a cursor. And what is the cursor for us? It's just to read and play the space. And for that in 2D it's okay, but the second thing I love is to have a 3D representation also for the score. And it's very important in the development of Yanix. Why the 3D, and what it means 3D for the brain to write some score in 3D? It's very difficult for me and for everybody, but the idea to have the opportunity to use the 3D representation, it's very important. So Yanix is very simple. It's just a space, 3 objects, the trigger, very simple, on-off, the curved dynamic system, and the cursor to read the space. And so normally, the first step for us, all the composer, all the artists ask at Yanix to just read the score and send the data to move, for example, the filter or something like that. So one very simple example is this is the score for the spatialization. And this is the first big problem we have in general in the music. So what's happened in general, it's a 2D representation, very difficult to have a good representation, what's the sound. And in this example, it's 6 dimensions, because it's 3D dimensions concerning the space. So it's a real space with the speakers at the different positions. And the system here is really the key parameters for the spatializations for the idea, okay, this sound is here, but what is exactly the size of the sound? So for the composer, it's very nice to see this kind of thing. So because it's really a big approach, and in this case, the composer can change very quickly, and also to have this kind of representation in 3D, it's really efficient concerning the spatializations. This is a joke, but it's really nice to have, you are in the, what is the name in English? The montagne russe. And so you follow the sound in this case. So this is the simple and classical example with Yanix. The second thing like this is a piece I realized with Pascal Dussapin, French composer, and it's for the video, because Yanix is not really for the sound. It's not really for anything. It's just a control, a score, notation for many things. If you see at the top, it's really Yanix managed the parameters of the video in real time of the drawing of Pascal Dussapin. This is an installation, and the name is Mille Plateaux. So this is a second example of control. So what is it? It's just Yanix play a score to manage. This is the score here, you see, in real time. And you manage the video in this case, and for the other example is for the spatialization. The second thing, very important for us, is to exciting the score. Because the score is, for us, it's not fixed. It's very interesting to have a stimuli, external stimuli for the score. And so this is one example. Interesting, I realized at the Biennale de Venise, this is a musician player, percussion player, play, and with the microphone, you just extract the envelope, and you change the score in real time on the projection, on the video projection. Il n'y a pas de son. Wait a minute. Normal. Score. It's a physical modeling at the beginning, but we design a sphere. It is external video system. And each time one code just play very small dot. This dot plays something in electronic aspect. So the score is not fixed in this example. The stimuli is external stimuli. So this is the real time you see the score. This is the I show you another example. I play with Au Printemps des Arts. It's a festival at Monaco. And so I'm very interested with the optical illusion in general. So I suggest that the Quatuor Tana play a piece of Adamex composers. And this is electroacoustic piece, very interesting with spatialization and so on. So I'm not in charge for the spatialization except to project the sound. But I suggest that the Quatuor to put the video system with illusion optic. And so I use Yanix for that. And it's very funny, we don't see exactly now what's happened, but it's very nice because the illusion optical is really like a stimuli, external stimuli from the electroacoustic and generate the optical illusion for the public. So this is the same thing, input and generate the score in real time. So we don't know exactly what's happened because it depends on the electronics, but in the electroacoustic piece, it's very easy because it's a tape, so we can rewind and start again and change something. So it's not a live coding, it's really piece, tape, and generate a stimuli, external stimuli. So exactly like the live coding, it's interesting to have a code inside Yanix. So, and the choice of Yanix is the JavaScript, so it's simple. And the idea to have a code inside Yanix, it's also possible in the gray to have a data in and data out for sure. But in this example, it's really the code generate the score. And I show you one piece I realized because I love the pasta in general. And so I propose the concert with the pasta. And so I generate the form, and one guy completely crazy gives me the equation of all the pasta in the world. And so I put the algorithm in the Yanix, and so I decide to read the pasta. So it's an interesting aspect. So the code generates the form, so the 3D form, so the equations. And so after that, I So I continue. So in the data in and data out, it's interesting also because it's the input and the output. So we can imagine at the end that it's possible to have a loop. Yes. So just okay. I tried really to speed very quickly. Just I show you maybe in real time Yanix. It's interesting because why the composer? This is the score of Entropia you see just before. And so if I play this score with a shit. I don't restart this. This is effet demo. Excellent. Okay.
Because your time is elapsed.
Yeah, absolutely. Time is. Allez, just up. Allez, very quickly. Up. Yes. So this is important concerning the score. This is what I would like to do. So I go to max, for example, just to have the input parameters to manage that. Okay. If I click I select some curve, and so I can change the algorithm. So this is the function here. And so to compose the spatialization, it's very interesting because the mapping of the space is really, this is a domogesic system. And so for the composer, it's very nice. He can just select the position you want and play the cursor in real time. So if I play the cursor, move on the space, and what is the cursor? It's just an object of the sound. And so it's very easy to writing the score in real time. I think it's finished, but I have just one more example, last example. This is the looping of that, because now we are finished for that, but it's more interesting for me. This is the input go to the output, and the output go to the input. So I love that very much. I try my best. With that, I would like to show you a very simple example of that. Yes. Okay. So the score is like a stochastic score, or it's like a score I don't understand what's happened really, but it's very easy. So I use the position of this cursor, and the position of this cursor influence the second cursor with the speed and the position, and the third to the force, and so on. And so this is the loop. And if I accelerate the score, so I generate a form. Very interesting. And if you map that, because Yanix is without sound, without video, without nothing, if I just map the position for the filter and oscillator or something like that, I have a new score generative in real time. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.